before Simplex, I spent 24 years in corporate America with two large companies, 70,000 people each. And I wasn't in manufacturing at all. I wasn't in engineering. I was in IT, really business applications, that type of thing. I spent a lot of my career originally, I did some coding. I was a coder, but most of my career was spent interfacing with users of technology, of business systems. I ran global support desk for a large company, supporting users of that system. I deployed hardware and software around the world in the first job. And then the second job, there might be some people that know a little company called McDonald's Corporation that I worked for. And there, I was really I worked with the suppliers that put technology into the US restaurants. So McDonald's didn't do it themselves. They purchased all of that. So I really interfaced with the suppliers to McDonald's of their point of sale systems, their back office systems. So I was working with third parties that were installing those, that were supporting them. And so that's really what I did over there. So I got a lot involved with supplier management. So really, it's been a lot interfacing with end users of software, customers, and then working with suppliers. And I always wanted to be part of a smaller business. Actually, I never thought it would be this business. But as I was kind of saying, I'm getting to the point in my career I would like to try something smaller. I met with my father-in-law, who had done some similar things. He had worked for very large corporations and he had been in sales and that type of thing. And I kind of said, Barrett, can I meet? I just want to kind of pick your brain a little bit. How did you get from where you were to, being an owner of Simplex? So him and I met for about 3 hours and just talked through it. And at the end of the meeting, he goes, well, aren't you going to ask me about Simplex? I said, no, I don't know anything about that, Barrett. And I think I'm dangerous with electricity. So I'm not sure I'm the right guy to do, to own Simplex. And he begged to differ. He said, we're not looking for somebody to build the control panels. We're looking for somebody to really be the, interface with the customers, interface with the suppliers, really to run it as a business. We've got guys that know how to do manufacturing, and that's what I learned is that he built a great company that knew what they were doing. He just needed somebody to kind of take the company forward. And that's what he's looking at me. The other thing I think he was thinking a little was that, what we build is getting more and more integrated into manufacturing is getting more integrated into front office or, front of the parts of corporations. When they talk about the Internet of Things, they're talking about connecting the manufacturing floor to the business systems of corporations. Well, all that connectivity and all that information coming off the manufacturing floor is coming through the control panels that we build, most of the information, because the control panels we build have industrial computers in them called PLCs, programmable logic controllers, and those are being used to collect the data and to run all the machines, all the motors, and to distribute power out on the manufacturing floors. So I think he knew a little bit that was going to happen more and more. And I do have a bit of a lot of IT background that he thought maybe I could help there. We're more like an integrator or a service provider. We take specifications that have been kind of documented by an engineer of an electrical control panel that needs to be built. And that can consist of from 100 parts to 2,000 parts, that can go in. We do anything from a small one push button station to large enclosures that are 6 doors. They're very large. But we're taking that specification and we're quoting it. And then when we win the work, we go out and purchase all of the enclosures, mild steel, stainless steel. We buy all the electrical components that need to be put in it. And then we'll take them and put them in the enclosure, and then we do all the wiring to make them work. And then we do a full quality control process to make sure it's going to work when it gets in the field. So, Besides having my IT background, the other thing I was taught very well is process and how important it is. Process, quality, that type of thing. So I'm very process orientated. So, when Leanne and my wife, we bought the company, parts were ordered with triplicate forms. I mean, there was no, now it's all automated, all the ordering and all the receiving, it's all automated. All of our quoting's done with an automated system. It was all done with an Excel spreadsheet at the beginning. Interesting thing is, I think a lot of people thought that I would come in and immediately do that. And that's what I avoided at all costs because I needed to understand the business first. So when I first came in, my father-in-law and I agreed that I'd work in the company for a while to see if I enjoyed it, if I thought it was a good fit for me, but also to see if the people at the company thought I was a good fit for them, which was very important. So I came in and for 3 years. I didn't, I was out on the floor building control panels for 6 months. I actually did that. Now I'm glad I'm not doing it anymore because there's people much better at it than I am, and they're out doing that. But I had to understand it. And actually, before I came to Simplex, while I was still working with McDonald's Court, I took a night class at COD, so that I could learn the vernacular of electrical control. So I knew what I was talking about. And I actually did learn to read wiring schematics. I can read one, I can quote work. I've learned all of that. But I'm really running the business. That's what I'm doing. What I didn't know at the time that I got involved is how much I love manufacturing and learning what manufacturers do and the importance of manufacturing to our economy and to our country. So I've gotten a real passion for that. So that's been a benefit to me. I worked in corporate America for 24 years. I never saw this part of America and um, the importance of manufacturing and what all the members of the TMA do. It's phenomenal and it's so fun for me to see it all. Some of the customers that we do work, well, when COVID hit, we were considered an essential business. So why were we an essential business? Well, we build control panels that are used in like compressor stations on natural gas pipelines. So, that's one of the coolest things I ever got to see. If you can think about it, you can look at when there used to be atlases and fold out maps, but you'd put that up on the wall and you'd see all the network of expressways throughout the US. You can get one that has natural gas pipelines all over the US. And it's amazing what you see. And so I think it's like 60 to 80 miles, they have to have a compressor station to control the flow of the gas and make sure it's safe. Our control panels are running turbines, large engines. Another example, turbines a jet airplane, but what it's a turbine that's compressing the gas and keeping it safe and compact and that. So we do that. So that's why we're essential. We also built a lot of control panels for food and beverage companies that are making food, packaging food, that type of thing. We are doing a lot of work for companies to put safety into manufacturing plants. So the control panel will run a light curtain that's called a safety curtain. So if somebody breaks that beam of light, it stops the manufacturing process so nobody gets hurt. Our biggest customer is an OEM of they make slicing machines. So everybody in their house is impacted by this company, Urschel Laboratories, and I have their approval to use their name. But we build control panels for their machines, and Fresh Express Salads is one of the largest customers of Urschel, and they actually use Urschel slicers. So all the shredded lettuce, all the bagged lettuce you get from Fresh Express is done with Urschel slicers. But they slice all types of vegetables, all kinds of other food. They're chunk cheese, everything like that. And we build a lot of most of their control panels. So that's why we were considered an essential business.